now that I've assessed the damage in the garden, which actually isn't that bad, it's just kind of messy with minimal damage, which I have to take care of later. I am going to just go ahead and start by cleaning up a lot of the weeds and tying up the tomatoes. But first and foremost, I am just going to start with getting rid of some of these weeds. And while doing so, maybe just chat a little bit about where I've been and where I've gone. So some of you may know this because I mentioned it in the videos beforehand, that every summer I do a road trip, and this summer was kind of a doozy, a real long one, a big one, and for me, I think a pretty important one. My dad passed away October of last year, and he wasn't close with his side of the family. They lived in Florida, back east, and we live in San Diego. And so the last time that I saw my aunt and my cousin, my aunt is his only sibling, I was probably five years old, and without giving too much away of my age, that was over 40 years ago. So when he passed, I made it kind of a decision that I was going to try and reconnect with that side of the family. When he died, it was tragic. He fell and broke his neck, and as a result of that, passed away about 4 months after the fact. And I don't really know why he really wasn't in touch with that side of his family. I know that possibly him and my grandpa may have had a falling out. I don't know. And he wasn't the type of person to just pick up a phone to call somebody, so he never really talked to his sister, his older sister. And so, like I said, I just made the decision that I wanted to reconnect with them, and I'm really, really glad that I did. So my cousin lives in Florida, and so I drove my Jeep and camped along the way. I have another YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing all of this stuff, which I'm going to start posting the videos on that channel here soon. But camping along the way, doing adventures, and met up with my cousin in Florida. Kind of bummed that it's so late in the game, because I feel like I have a picture. If I can find it, I think I know I can find it because my aunt gave me a bunch of stuff. But I have a picture of me sitting on her lap, and she was about 10 years older than I am. And this picture is of me sitting on her lap, and I just remember thinking, that she was just so cool. And meeting up with her again, that same feeling came back. It was just like, I wish that we had lived closer, because I feel like we could have been really close. So that's kind of sad. And then I also just feel like I really missed out on a lot of knowing my grandparents. I am named after my dad's grandma and his mother. So I have both of my names are from that side of the family. And I never really got to know them, which is kind of a bummer. They passed, gosh, back in the early 90s. So just kind of sad, but it was good. And then I made my way up to Tennessee to visit with my auntie. I stayed with her and my Uncle Bill for 2 days. And like I had just mentioned, she gave me, she teaches ancestry like at one of the local colleges up there, and she's been into it for many years. And she gave me a bunch of archive, binders that she has put together over the last however many years of original photographs and stuff like that, because nobody else wants it. And so I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. And so she decided that there's really not much that she's gonna do with it, so she gave it to me, and I have yet to go through it because, like I said, I just got home. But yeah, I plan on going through that and just kind of getting to see that side of my dad's family. And from there, I went to Kansas, and not in this particular order because my brain's a little fried, but Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, drawing a blank, Utah, Nevada, and then back to California. So I did 21 states, including California, just under 8,500 miles, and it was quite fun. The weather in, I believe it was Oklahoma, really just destroyed my stuff. I had all my stuff outside of my car because I sleep in the Jeep when I'm traveling, and a storm came in the middle of the night, lightning, electric storm, thunder, all the things, and I had to leave everything out there because I wasn't getting out of the car. And thank God none of it got ruined, but it really put a damper on things. So, but yeah, if you want to go check those out, you know, I'll leave a link or whatever, but I would really appreciate that. So anyways, my husband and daughter were watering the garden for me, and I think what's been eating it is a mouse or a family of mice or something, because it's been eaten slowly, not just completely devoured. And so I think that it is mice. Now I could get a trap out here, which I probably will do. But my other option that I might do is getting some sort of I have to look into it and research it, but getting some sort of a motion sensor detector and then hook it up to a sprinkler system. So that way it sprinkles whenever it detects, but if it is a mouse, I don't know that it will pick that up. So, but yeah. So enough talking and chit chat for now. I am just going to get into this garden and clean up as much of these weeds as I can, because I really want to get to the nursery as soon as I can to replace some of these plants, because, you know, growing seasons and all that jazz. I don't think I need this guy anymore. I don't know that he really did any good anyways, but I think he tried. So these are gonna just have to go to my chickens. And there's a lot of them, and there's this massive monstrosity right here. So they will enjoy those. Nice fresh veg. And then get some of these weeds out. There's another one here. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to try and do with these squashes is, once I deal with everything else, like the tomatoes, I might come in and try and cut off some of these lower leaves and then tie them up to this trellis to kind of get them out of the way, because they're doing really well. I'm going to keep an eye on this guy right here because he's growing nicely. Whatever, is growing nicely, and I don't want it to get eaten. So I am going to leave these for now because I want to get over and do something about the tomatoes. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I am trying the Florida weave. I don't really know how I feel about it. but there's no turning back, so I'm just gonna go and weave these up as best I can to get them sort of stabled better. Yeah, I don't like this Florida weave thing. It's just, I don't like the way that it makes the tomatoes look. But I am gonna come in here because a lot of these leaves are just dying. And so this I think whole tomato plant right here is probably dead, but so I'm just gonna come in, clean up these plants a little bit, get anything up off the ground that's touching the ground. Be very careful because I've already lost quite a lot of the fruit falling off from just tying them back up. But yeah, I'm just gonna get all this yellow stuff off the plants because, well, it's dying. All right, I think it looks a lot better in here. I'm not so concerned with the outside right now. I will deal with that later. And I still have to decide if I'm going to do the squashes, cutting off the bottom leaves and taking that stalk and just kind of propping it against the trellis. But I absolutely hate the Florida weave. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I just don't live in Florida. I don't know. But I don't like it. So I won't be doing it again. I feel like it makes the plants just look very gangly and squirrely, and they're just kind of all over the place. So I will probably just go with cages again next year. But other than that, everything else looks pretty good. It's not a bad thing to come home to. It could be a lot worse. So I am pleased. I just have to get rid of the bucket of weeds and then take some of these veggies over to the chickens to enjoy. And then the next thing I need to do is get down to the garden center and get some more peppers. I think it's really just the peppers that whatever it is in here is eating. Fingers crossed. So I probably will put a trap in here. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, cleaning up the garden, and I will see you again soon. Bye.